How can we overcome the conflict between globalism and nationalism? Final exam. Throughout this course, you've learned about and thought about cultures from many different countries and regions. In many parts of the world, nationalism is a reaction to globalism, and nationalism is often grounded in one's own culture and values. The sense of solidarity as a global citizen often clashes with the culture and values of one's own country. What can we do to overcome these issues? Write down your thoughts.
Economic nationalism refers to extreme national economic activities aimed at maximizing economic profits. Economic nationalism even affects corporate ownership structures and resource procurement issues. In this respect, it is much more threatening to companies doing global business than simple protectionism. The first economic nationalism occurred during the oil crisis in the 1970s and later in the 21st century, due to the global financial crisis in 2008 and the coronavirus outbreak in 2020. We faced a low-growth economy, oversupply, shrinking consumer markets, excessive debt, social polarization, and environmental pollution. Energy problems have become more serious. As a result, economic nationalism is increasingly spreading. Recently, major economic powers are promoting new nationalism. Representative examples include US President Trump's America First, Britain's Brexit, and French President Macron's patriotism. German Chancellor Merkel argued that Europe should pioneer its own path, and Chinese President Xi Jinping declared that he would play an important role in global economic governance. New nationalism emerged as a backlash against market fundamentalism, or post-nationalism. In particular, it emerged as a reaction to international organizations, such as the WTO and EU, which are closely related to neoliberalism and globalization, restricting state authority, and elites paying more attention to other countries than to the welfare of their own citizens. In this context, new nationalism has the characteristics of economic nationalism. Given the interconnected structure of the global economy, economic nationalism is bound to have an impact on the value chains and production networks that connect multiple countries. In other words, economic nationalism contains factors that can disrupt the global supply chain. This means that economic nationalism triggered by international political and diplomatic conflicts, or trade disputes, acts as a threat to global supply chain trade. One of the main drawbacks of economic nationalism is that it has the potential to hinder global cooperation and exacerbate trade tensions between countries. By imposing trade barriers, countries risk triggering retaliatory measures from their trading partners, which risks leading to a vicious cycle of protectionism. Economic nationalism often results in higher prices for consumers. When a country restricts imports and protects domestic industries, it can limit competition and increase the prices of goods and services. By shielding domestic industries from foreign competition, economic nationalism can unintentionally stifle innovation and efficiency gains. If an industry is not exposed to international competition, there may be less incentive to innovate and improve products or processes. Such economic nationalism can also have a significant impact on domestic companies actively engaged in global business. First, it can be a major obstacle to implementing a company's growth strategy. This is because it blocks access to new investment opportunities such as global business network expansion or resource development. Second, it makes strategic adjustment of the business portfolio difficult. This is because it acts as a serious constraint on market entry and exit. Third, the profitability of businesses already in operation may significantly deteriorate. If there is no investment opportunity due to lack of government approval at the review stage, there will be no business risk. However, if the business environment changes after investment is completed, due to strengthening regulations, etc., companies face a dilemma. What should the country do to deal with economic nationalism? Implement complementary economic policies. We promote economic stability through policies that develop diverse industries without over-reliance on specific domestic industries. We strengthen investment in innovation and technological development to increase the competitiveness of domestic industries. This will reduce our dependence on foreign economic influence. Implement policies to strengthen social safety nets. We will strengthen the social safety net and welfare system to minimize the side effects of economic opening. This can reduce social conflict resulting from economic change. In line with global economic changes, we provide retraining and career transition programs to help workers adapt to the new economic environment. Comply with global economic norms. We build trust in the international community by complying with global economic norms and implementing transparent economic policies. We promote policies that emphasize environmental protection and social responsibility for sustainable economic development. What should the company do to deal with economic nationalism? Creative business model for business stability must be derived and applied. The best option is to pursue projects that are as unrelated to economic nationalism as possible. A strategy that divides profits over the long term may be better than a strategy that generates high profits in the short term. Domestic partners or influential global partners in the target country. Entering the market with a partner also helps ensure business stability. It is important for policymakers to carefully balance the benefits of protecting domestic industries with the potential downsides of restricting international trade and investment. Finding the right balance between economic nationalism and global cooperation is critical to shaping the future of the global economy.